Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks for sticking around for the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Rich Walsh, joined by Andrew Fillipponi in a matter of moments at the 93.7 The Fan Cam, and we're taking your phone calls tonight. 412-575-2600. We're going to be talking about the U.S. Open. What a fantastic final round, fantastic finish at Oakmont. Despite the weather, everything else was good out there. I know Pony was out there for a few of those days, taking in all the golf that he could and hanging out at Oakmont Bakery, eating some treats too. You know, one thing I found out today, I know J.J. Spahn is a Srixon guy. I have Srixon Club, so does Pomp. He's playing the same irons as me. Maybe I should be better now because I'm playing Srixon irons, the ZXi7s.
Well, he got a $4 million check for playing those irons. I don't know what Srixon is paying you and Pomp. I did see Pomp hitting a ball at Laurel Valley today. He looked like Lee Trevino. I mean, his swing path, his swing plane, the point of contact. You know, I'm not Hank Haney or one of these swing coaches, but it looked incredible. Now, apparently he missed a very easy birdie putt, though. So he might need to get back in the putting lab, as many did at Oakmont this weekend. Many big-name golfers could not make putts. Scheffler, Hovland struggled with his putting, as he often does. Rahm couldn't get a big putt to drop for most of the week. So, yeah, congratulations, Richie, on having that in common with a guy who now calls himself U.S. Open champion everywhere he goes.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. But, you know, I was trying to figure out what was more important, staying out of the rough or being able to putt. Sam Burns did an excellent job up into that final round. I mean, him and Ryan Fox were the only two players out there that didn't have a three-putt. It was just Sam Burns. It was his tournament to lose. Same with Adam Scott, and they shoot 79 and 78. I mean, basically, they lost the championship. And maybe it was the unplayable or the water issue that Sam Burns had might have gotten to his head. But you know what? J.J. Spahn took advantage. After that break, he said yesterday when we had a chance to interview him that he had to refocus, and he played well in the back and hit driver on 17, maybe the shot of the day, and then obviously that putt hurt around the world. Where were you for that putt? Were you home yet, or were you still out at Oakmont?
I was on my couch. No, I was not out there anymore. I was on my couch watching it.
I think a lot of us here locally want to say it was the greatest U.S. Open of all time. I don't think it was. I think that moment that J.J. Spahn made that 65-footer that had probably 8 to 10 feet of break right there, that might have been one of the greatest shots in U.S. Open history. There's no doubt about that in my mind. You can name a handful of them, but I think that
one of the best putts.
That putt will go down as one of the greatest moments because he basically sealed it. I mean, look, that was a tricky putt. He saw Victor Hovland's putt, had an idea where it was going. He needed a two-putt or he was going into a playoff, and you and I were texting through that whole thing, and I didn't want a playoff because you knew that playoff was going to happen today.
Yeah. Well, you know, we also saw at Oakmont in '83 when you were not even in diapers. I don't even know if you were born back then, Richie. Pomp was actually there. Larry Nelson made a 63-foot putt at 16 that basically gave him the U.S. Open, and he beat Tom Watson that day. And so we've seen putts like that at Oakmont. Now, that was on 18. Nelson's was on 16. But Nelson's putt pretty much beat Tom Watson, who's an 8-time champion in the majors and a 5-time British Open champion. J.J. Spahn's long putt beat Bob McIntyre. So that, to me, is really the thing that stunk about this U.S. Open is you wait a decade to get it again, and the big names, other than that little late flourish by Scheffler, they were just not relevant, Richie. They were irrelevant. Yeah. DeChambeau didn't even make the cut. Rory was just a mess all week. I mean, what a disgraceful performance by him, not just on the course with how he played other than Sunday, but just how he interacted with people, letting his frustrations and anger get the best of him. So I thought that was a horrible look by a guy who just won the career Grand Slam and should be on top of the golf world right now.
You know, speaking of disgraceful, I'm sure you saw the pictures of what Wyndham Clark did to the lockers. I mean, that was disgusting. To be able to do that, I understand the frustrations, but you kick into those lockers. You know, I had a prominent member tell me off the record, basically saying that, hey, this stuff wouldn't have happened at Augusta. Why is it happening here?
Well, it's a really sad thing with Wyndham Clark because Wyndham Clark won a U.S. Open 2 years ago at LA Country Club, and I remember when he was walking up 18, I don't remember, Richie, if it was his mom or dad, but he had somebody, a parent, that had just passed away. And they were talking about that, how this guy's had to overcome that in his life. And it was a great moment, much like with Spawn yesterday and going through everything he had to do in his career to become a major champion. And 2 years ago was not that long ago. And this guy now is known not for being a U.S. Open champion, but for his temper. And it's played out. We've seen him break clubs. We've seen him throw clubs. We've seen him swear. I mean, look, everybody who stinks at golf like myself has moments like that where they have rage. But this guy is a major champion who acts like he's 16 years old out there.
Yeah.
And to break and to damage property at prestigious Oakmont is just completely unacceptable. And it's nothing new for this guy. So I don't get it. I don't get why so many of these guys who have had success, tasted success like Rory and Wyndham, why are they so angry? I don't understand that. These guys play a great sport on fantastic courses around the world, and they act like the entire world is giving them a middle finger. I don't get that at all, Richie.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see what happens. All right, we got to take a break. 412-575-2600 is the number. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night, and you can see Sidney Crosby, Sam Reinhart, Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Cal McCarr, and Braden Point are all the first 6 of the Olympic team next year. No surprises there, Pony. Good to see Sidney Crosby back on the team. Hopefully he gets a deal done and an extension done with the Penguins at some point soon, because it looks like Evgeny Malkin, according to Josh Yohe, this will be the last year we're going to see 71 in black and gold.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that at all. You know, I think last time his contract was up, it wasn't just sentimentality. The guy was playing well, and there was reason to think he could maybe play well into his late 30s. I think we saw last year, Father Time has caught up to Evgeny Malkin. I think he's still a serviceable player. He's no longer a superstar. And so I think this year should be his send-off. And if he wants to go play somewhere else.
Should the Penguins retire Evgeny Malkin's number 71? I think they should, but you know,
yes, of course.
Would you bring him back, like you said, at a reduced rate after this year, maybe to play you wing on like the third line and the power play, and you know, and if you get him at a good number, I mean, I still think he might be better than some young kid that you might throw out there.
I don't think that that's off the table. I mean, I don't think that that should be just automatically ruled out. I mean, the other thing here is, you know, is this Mario Burkle Morehouse thing for real? I mean, if it is, then, you know, that to me would improve the chances if they were to buy back the team of Evgeny Malkin maintaining a relationship with the Penguins and maybe sticking around for more than just one more year. But if he's not, I mean, Fenway Sports Group has no loyalty to Malkin. They didn't win Stanley Cups with him. So they would do it, I think, more bloodlessly, like they would just look at it more black and white, more objectively, because they don't have those winning times and good times with him. So we'll see. I mean, he will have his number retired. He might even have a statue outside of the arena one day. But I don't think any Penguins fan should be disappointed or upset if this report is true, and I have no reason to believe it's not.
Yeah, maybe he goes and plays over in Russia. Let's go out to Don in Murraysville for our number one Cochrane Sports Call of the night. Don?
Hi, I'm calling about, I think you made a comment that Letang and Crosby's contracts are up as well.
Yeah. I don't know where he was going with it, but look, it seems like the big three is coming to an end here very soon. I'm sure Crosby can name his price and name his years right now, not only for what he's done in the past, but, I mean, he's still one of the best players in the game. That's why he's on Team Canada, 91 points last year, led the Penguins. So I don't mind that at all. But Chris Letang, Evgeny Malkin, I'd like to see that money used somewhere else.
Well, I don't see how the Penguins are going to move Letang's contract. I believe there's still 4 years left on it after he signed that extension a couple summers ago. And now he's got the, you know, more issues as far as heart issues. He's had the strokes in the past. So I just think from a medical standpoint, it would be very difficult to find a taker for that contract given how much time is left on it. And then Sid, signed that contract last summer. I have a feeling this is not his final contract with the Penguins. I think he'll play into his 40s. I think he'll be very good into his 40s. So it's sad that Sidney Crosby will see some of these guys that he won Stanley Cups with continue to age out, this big three, the longest tenured big three in all of professional sports, longer than core groups with the Yankees and in the NBA and in the NFL. But I just think all good things come to an end, and we've seen it now. When you miss the playoffs 3 straight years, there's an appetite to break things up and go in a different direction. So I think we all assume that'll happen with Malkin after this year. We'll see what happens with Erik Karlsson. We'll see when Brian Rust's no movement clause is lifted this summer, if there's any interest in moving on from him and trading him. So a lot of things that could happen with the Penguins potentially, Richie, as soon as this Stanley Cup final between the Oilers and Panthers wraps up and we get to the NHL offseason.
Well, they got to do something to be competitive again. Let's go out to Bill in Greensburg. How you doing, Bill?
Hi, guys. Hey, I have a question for you. What other chances do you guys think of Lemieux and Burkle getting the team back? And one, why did they sell it? And then why do they want it back? I'd like to hear your answers.
Well, I think there is some truth to that, even though I've heard that it was disputed, by some people over there. But Pierre LeBrun had it. I mean, he's your ultimate hockey insider. Are they reaching out to see if they can get a good deal on it? What did Fenway Group pay? $900 million for the Penguins. So yeah. I don't think that they want to lose money, but they're going to lose money here in the next couple years if they don't get this thing turned around. And I don't know how they're going to get turned around. So maybe it is good if they unload it. But they're going to have to take a loss if they're going to sell the Penguins right now. At least I think so.
Well, I don't know off the top of my head, but it would be the first time in a long time we see a team get sold for less than it was bought for in the previous transaction. These sports franchise values have gone nothing but up. So I don't think they're going to sell it for less than the $900 million that they bought it for. As far as why that group would want it back, it's obviously a labor of love. I mean, it's Mario Lemieux's baby. It's the franchise he won 2 Stanley Cups with as a player and 3 as an owner, and they've kind of fallen on hard times since he left. So maybe that's re-energized his interest in the team and makes him want to buy it back and get involved again. And maybe Ron Burkle has an itch there too. I think David Morehouse absolutely would want to do it. I don't think his interest should be questioned whatsoever. So I think it would be great. It would be fantastic to have local ownership again, people that love the Penguins with Fenway Sports Group. How much can they love them, Richie, when they're not Pittsburghers and they've got other sports teams like the Boston Red Sox and a Premier League soccer team and F1 and NASCAR teams? Like, I don't know. It just, to me, seems like it's very down on their list of priorities.
Yeah, I'd 100%. Like you said, labor of love. Mario's going to try to win. They have pride. I think that would be awesome if they could somehow figure out a way to buy the franchise back. Because, like you said, I mean, maybe there is a disconnect right there with Fenway Group and the fans right now. I would like to see a local ownership, just like I would like to see some pride. I know this is off topic a little bit with the Pirates ownership. But I think Mario would come in here and want to win. And they also, he'd want to keep those guys around, though, too. So that's the struggle. You can't really juggle that right now.
Well, that's the rock and hard play situation with the Penguins, is that they're stuck a little bit in between. Now, I think Kyle Dubas has the right idea, and I think his idea is we need to lose before we win again. And it's not going to be something where we just try to make free agent moves and trades to sneak into the playoffs. He's looking at building something that can be a long-term contender. Now, I have my doubts about his ability to do that because of some of the moves we've seen him make, from the Ryan Graves signing, the Erik Karlsson trade, the Tristan Jarry decision. But at least I think he has the right idea. he has the right plan. It's just a matter of executing it, Richie.
Yeah, 100% need a goalie, that's for sure. All right, we got to take a break. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Now it's time to turn things over to Ken Rice to find out what's coming up on KDKA News at 11. Ken?
Rich, wild weather over the weekend turning deadly in West Virginia. We have all the latest. Plus, an Elwood City police officer facing discipline after a controversial confrontation caught on camera. And a dramatic rescue after a car goes over a hillside in Highland Park. All coming up, Rich, right here at 11.
All right, thanks a lot, Ken. Not a lot of time here left, Pony, but we just saw just a little while ago, Jerry Dulac just tweeted that Deshaun Elliott signed a new deal, 3-year deal worth $15 million. It's a 2-year extension, basically worth $12.5 million. I really like Deshaun. I think he was an important part of that defense last year, and that's the reason that they're signing him to a 2-year extension.
Has he buried the hatchet with Aaron Rodgers? Remember he said the guy should go to the retirement home?
He didn't talk at minicamp, and that's interesting because I think a lot of us wanted to talk to him, but he wasn't around. So maybe we can talk to him during training camp. Hey, thanks a lot, Pony. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Hopefully we see you on KDKA News right now.